If I would kindly ask you to please, state your name and media affiliation.
Lloyd Carroll, Queens Chronicle, mahalo Dillon. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, name, image, likeness has been around college for a couple of years. I'm curious if you guys have friends who played other sports like baseball, tennis, soccer, where the professional compensation is not very high. Major League Baseball, particularly, minor leagues, the pay is brutal. I'm curious if name, image, likeness, when you speak to the athletes in other sports, has kept them in school, where they may have left school without NIL. Just curious, because NIL gets a lot of conversation, but I'm curious about that. If you do have friends in other sports, or NIL has kept them in school.
I would say I have a couple friends more back home in other sports or from Hawaii that I've talked to. NIL isn't the first topic of discussion, but I think naturally everything's kind of helped every single person out in their own way. But I couldn't tell you directly from each different sports. But we do talk about our personal experiences and either laugh about it or talk through it. So.
Thanks, Dylan. Next question, far right, second row.
Jack Lazarus from the Daily Emerald out in Eugene. This one's also for Dylan. I asked this to Bo last year here. What does it mean to you to represent Eugene and UO on this big stage?
Yeah, I understand I represent much more than myself, and I see it as a huge responsibility and something I'm extremely aware of, but also thoughtful of, and I'm appreciative. The experience that I've had at UO has been a fun one, and it hasn't been a long one, but the people and the experience you have, at least for me thus far, has been amazing, and connections and relationships that will last a lifetime. So I'm blessed. I love Eugene, and I love everything the University of Oregon stands for.
Next question's going to be back on the left-hand side.
That's right here. Kieran Hickey Simple, Overtime. I have a question for all four of you guys. Can you tell me about the suits, and then also, since you've been out here, what's the best food you've had out here?
Thanks. Why don't we start up here on the front, Dylan?
Yeah, the suit. Shout out J-Mac. Got me right. With all the little details. And then of course the lei. Just being from Hawaii and being able to, show that as well, what I represent. And then best food. Gosh, I ate a bagel this morning. I don't know where from. Everything bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese, but I think it's chopped cheese, I guess, here in New York.
Travis?
My suit, I just want to be different. I always come different, so this style that I found, and I decided to go with this style. I wanted to be in the blue because blue is my favorite color, so that's what we're blue. And best food, I'll probably say a beef patty. I love beef patty, so whenever I get a chance to eat beef patty, it's very special.
Ashton?
Yeah, suit by Pharaoh. Just try to do a different color. Something that'll make my skin pop. But yeah, real nice and smooth. Everybody up here look fly. I think we all look great. I'll say the best thing I had was probably the restaurant. I think it was the first day we got here. I don't remember, but I think it was called Tony Di Napoli. So it reminded me of my days back in Italy eating Italian food.
For myself, the suit, just a plain black suit from Boss. I'm a simple guy, I don't need all that. And food, I went to Quality Beach last night. That's pretty good steakhouse, so it was all right.
Next question, front row here on the left. Yep, yeah.
Errol Marks from the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is a question for Travis. Travis, what is it like being up for a Heisman Trophy and being obviously the last person to be the last Heisman Trophy winner to win as a cornerback, Charles Woodson? What is it like being compared or even being thought of as a Heisman Trophy winner of Charles Woodson?
It's very special. He's the only guy that went both ways. He has certain stats in different categories. It's definitely special, but like you said, I'm not the only corner. I want to be the only receiver that went over 1,000 yards, and also a defensive back that caught 4 interceptions plus, and multiple games had those stats to show up. But it's definitely special. It means a lot to me and my family. So.
Next question, we're going to go here, first row here on the far right.
D. Taylor, WRHU Sports. This one's for Ashton. You didn't receive many Power 5 school offers coming out of high school. Why do you believe you were so overlooked, and how's playing at Boise State helped you unlock your full potential?
Yeah, I feel mainly it's because, you know, I moved overseas to Naples, and then I moved back to the U.S., and I wasn't playing running back. So sophomore year, I played defense, D-line, safety, linebacker. Junior year, we had a great running back, so I played slot receiver. And then finally, senior year, you know, I had one of the best seasons by a running back in Texas football history. But I graduated early, so that, you know, that back end of the year getting recruited, you know, I didn't get all those schools coming after me. But obviously, it doesn't really matter. You know, I was meant to go to Boise State.
Next question is going to be here in the front on the left-hand side.
Gary Jones, BMA Sports. This is for everyone on the panel. How did you prepare last night? Do y'all have anxiety? Or did you just prepare just like you prepare for a game for this Heisman nomination?
How about we'll start in the reverse. Let's start with Cam this time.
I think just get in the bed and close your eyes, go to sleep. Hope to wake up the next day and, you know, just go, I live my life day by day. So, can't really prepare for moments like this on weekends, make plays on the field. So, you know, we all put ourselves in a position to be here. We all deserve it.
Ashton?
Yeah, I was just, you know, chilling with the fam, you know, enjoying the moment. But I feel like it's, you know, kind of like a game day, you know, once you kind of put your attire on, put your suit on, you know, you feel good, you know, the nerves kind of leave you, and, you know, I practiced my speech last night, you know, so make sure I'm ready when I get up there.
Travis?
I'm not gonna lie, I watched some fishing videos. That's all I did.
I had a dinner with the family, haven't seen them in some time, at least all of them to get together. So we were chilling at the hotel, you know, restaurant, danced a little bit in front of the band, you know, felt loose. But kind of like what Cam said, there's no way to prepare in terms of it being our first time, so we're kind of learning as we're going.
Next question is going to be back center on the right-hand side.
Yogi Roth with Big Ten Network and Y Option Podcast. I'm curious for all of you, if you look at where you started and now where you are, and tonight there'll be millions of young athletes watching you. If you could boil it down to a sentence and give each one of those a little bit of advice around what matters most to get to the seat that you're in now, for the 14-year-old that might be watching you and trying to dream of one day being.
Dillon?
I would say the edge or the difference, and you know, I think you look at all of our stories, it's very unique. But one thing, you know, I've seen that has been a common theme is everyone's had an edge, you know, to their game and how they play, and that's just watching from afar. But when you get around them, and then you figure out that's the difference between us versus, you know, whoever it may be. So it's been a pleasure being around these guys as well.
I'll say, don't let anyone tell you what you can't do. Keep grinding, stay focused, and go get it.
Yeah, to me, I would say trust the process. You know, there's gonna be days where you get discouraged, where you don't feel like all the goals you want to accomplish you can, but I'm sure that's happened to each and every one of us sitting up here today. But for every one of us, it took us a process to get to where we're at now.
I just think you have to be an extremely competitive person. You have to be a confident person, and you just got to believe in God and everything, take care of yourself.
Next question is going to be in the back on the left. Oh, sorry. Back center.
No worries. Perry Snook, Pix 11 Sports, NYC. Question for all four of you guys, but definitely the quarterbacks. Looking like both of our local NFL teams here are going to have some high draft picks come next draft season. Now that you guys have been in New York a couple days, you know, could you guys see yourself? Well, what do you think about playing here for the New York Jets or Giants?
We'll go in the reverse this time. Okay.
I mean, if Joe want to come get me, he knows best. The tape says it all. You're going to get a competitor out of me. You know, the city of New York, you know, I won't be in the city probably ever. I stay in New Jersey for all day, every day. It's too much out here. So, you know, I'll just be vibing and, you know, just trying to make some football plays for the Giants.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. You know, I got a bunch of family out here. You know, shout out to my Haitians, all my Zoes. Yeah, and you know, you would get a great player. You know, amazing running back, and you know, a leader on the team. And you know, I feel before I even step foot on the field, I'll make the team better by my presence in the locker room.
Travis?
No, I would just say the tape. You know, the tape doesn't lie. I think that's true for everyone. But more importantly, the person. You know, I think once you get to a certain level, the talent may become equivalent. And like I always say, the edge, the difference, what is it's the people, it's the discipline, who that person is on a day-to-day basis. So the tape.
All right, next question right here in the center.
Cass Clayton with New Era Prep. This question is for Ashton. I mean, you could have hit the portal for more money for an NIL. You chose to stay with Boise State. What does loyalty mean to you?
Yeah, I think loyalty means everything. You know, something, you know, that's not too common in people nowadays. And no, nothing against none of the guys up here. Everybody's process and, you know, journey is different. So nothing wrong to guys who enter the portal and all types of things. But for me, everything that I wanted to do, I could do at Boise State. You know, they believed in me before anybody else did. And I wasn't gonna leave just for some more money. You know, I made a bunch of money this year by what I did on the field.
Next question is going to be in the back left.
J-Taz K2B Boise, Idaho. Dillon, this one's for you. Yesterday, Dan Patrick kind of backed you into corner.
Yeah, that's Dan's fault.
I get that.
He's getting old a little bit.
Within your answer, though, you mentioned, talking about Ashton, about, it sounds like you had some sympathy or some understanding about the group of five. Could you elaborate on that a little bit? And then what was the buzz maybe around the Oregon locker room after you guys played Ashton earlier this year?
Yeah, I'll start with this. We all came from a lower level of football up until the point we are now. Of course, Ashton's a little different that way, but I think you realize maybe a difference in resources. At least I felt that from, you know, my experiences and, you know, just a different level of football, you know, but time and time again, you've seen teams compete and play really well. Like Boise came to Oregon this year, and like I said, I've been a part of teams that have gone to Power 4, Power 5, you know, programs and beat them, you know. So football is football, but more importantly, I think you do realize the difference in resources or difference in staff or whatever it may be.
Right here in the center on the right.
That's Lincoln Roach, CU Independent. So this one's for Travis, Cam, and Dillon. All of you played in new conferences this season. What was that adjustment like for you?
I would say the biggest adjustment for me, well, one, there was no real adjustment. I think the difference between the Pac-12 and the ACC is in the Pac-12 you got to bring it every week. That's in some different cases. In the ACC, like if you're in the Pac-12, no one really knows about Wake Forest. They're not known for a football school. Schools in that category, and I would say just the adjustment is that you just got to be on time with your teammates. For myself as a quarterback, with the receiving core, with the running backs and their option routes, just more of a timing, because the speed at every Power 4 is the same. It may be a little bigger O lineman, D lineman, but at the end of the day, the speed is the exact same.
No different for us. You know, we just gotta go out there and play football. Football is gonna still be football at the end of the day.
I would just say that the difference in the three conferences I've been, probably just geographical location, but other than that, football is football, like Travis said, and you do have to adjust. But each conference, I think, has uniquely its own DNA, and that's, you know, kind of because of you watching teams in that conference who's had success against this team. So there may be some repeats in terms of scheme, but for the most part, you know, it's just new locations.
Next question's gonna be on the left-hand side, second row.
How you doing? RJ Walker with the Players Tribune. I got a question for Travis. With starting your career at Jackson State, and they just won the Celebration Bowl today. I know you had a hectic day, but curious to see if you had a chance to take a peek at that and if you had anything to say around your victory.
Yeah, I definitely watched the game. I gotta stay over with the boys. So it's still players there that making plays on the field that I was playing with when I was there. So I definitely stay with the game. I make sure I watch every quarter. Make sure I watch them win. So definitely a shout out to my boys. Keep going.
Next question here on the right-hand side. Thank you.
Scott Proctor at DMVR. Trav, Shador's talked to us a couple times this season about how it was a risk for you, so to speak, to go to Jackson State, go to Colorado when you really could have went anywhere. How would you describe, that sort of speak risk that you took and how it's kind of paid off for you on a day like today?
You said how it kind of paid off for me. Look on that. It paid off very good. The risk, I don't think it was a risk. It was God's plan. Everything that I wanted to do, I'm accomplishing now. So I'm just happy to do what I did back in the assignment. I'm in the right spot now.
Next question, far right-hand side.
Aaron Diaz, WRHU. This was Travis. Travis, you obviously are part of a new era in Colorado football. So what does it mean to you to not only be a part of, to represent this award for your team, for yourself, but not and your team too?
It's gonna mean a lot. Last year was 4-8. Now, I'm holding up a trophy a year later. Never thought I'd be in this position, but I also, I worked so hard for it, and my teammates helped me to get here.
Front.
Zach Gelb, Infinity Sports Network. Cam, just wondering, your story is a real special one. 0-star recruit incarnate word. Last year at Washington State, you said you felt like you could be a Heisman Trophy finalist one day. Just how do you kind of, even with the journey through Miami, just put it into words how you went from a 0-star recruit to sitting here in New York City?
It's been special. It's been special for myself, my family, especially the days where my dad would email D3, D2 schools. We never hear back from them, but I knew his day would come. I have a elite work ethic. I believe in God and I trust my teammates. So, if you work hard, a lot of stuff will pay off for you.
Folks, we're going to do 2 more questions. Back to the center.
Mark Wilson, Team MBS Media. How do you guys feel about the new college playoff format?
We'll start with you, Dillon.
Yep. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun for everyone, fans, players, coaches included. This is what everyone wanted. The big time matchups and big environments. More playoff games. So I don't think this is where it will end either. So
it's definitely a great opportunity for more teams to get in. So I definitely love it. Get to watch football a little longer this year.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for more teams to, get in the playoffs and, compete, and especially the group of 5 schools to have a chance to get in there.
I think it's good too. I just think they need to find a sweet spot on how many teams they let in, whether it's 16 or 24, just like the FCS. I think that's where they need to, look more to the FCS and, have the perfect amount of teams in there.
It's going to be the last question, but after this, I'm going to kindly ask everyone to just stay in the room for a moment. Last question here on the right-hand side.
It's Jason Jones from Sports Illustrated for all of you. You've all achieved something by simply sitting at this table, and you've probably been asked 100 times what this award would mean to you, but more specifically, what would it mean for the people and the places you've come from?
We're going to start on the reverse with Cam.
I honestly think this award would mean more to my family in West Columbia, Texas, than what it would mean to me. At the end of the day, I love playing football. That's all I want to do with my life. That's all I want to be known for. So it'll be a huge accomplishment for myself. But my family, they're the real reason why I'm up here.
Yeah, it would mean a lot to me, of course. But kind of just like Kim was saying, my family who's put a lot and invested into me from a young age. See me grow up. Do everything that I'm doing. It's a real special moment for all of us.
Definitely my family. I'm gonna be the first person, my family to get to college and get through college and get to the NFL. So it's definitely gonna mean more to my family, more than probably back home. But it's gonna mean a lot back home too. I'll be the second, I think, trophy to come out of there. If I win it, if I end up winning it tonight. But definitely my family, most importantly, they're definitely gonna love it.
who was the first one? I would say family, and then also just everyone that puts in, the work to let us have a great experience. It's everyone in the training staff, equipment staff, our coaches, the university, all to let us play the game we love. So I know that I represent more than just myself.
Dylan, would you mind just repeating the question you asked Travis?
What you guys?
Who was the first?
Oh, I was just asking who was the first, but it's Lamar Jackson. So.
All right, folks, before anyone moves, the next portion of the media event, we're going to go across the hall to the Harlem room for individual Q&A. I would kindly ask everybody to stay here for 1 second. There are a number of additional guests that are non-credential media outside. I'm going to kindly ask our security detail